Good day, everybody. I am doing the review, and it's about just finished watching the Indian Malayalam movie known as Marakkar, the Lion of the Arabian Sea. Lions don't live in the sea; they live in the forest. We all know that. But I'm just being facetious. But when you say when someone is called a lion, if I call you a lion, does it mean you have four legs and a tail and mane? No, it means it. It is a metaphor. It's a figure of speech. It means it describes your character, the certain traits you have, such as you're valiant, you're courageous, you're brave, and you know you you have a noble character, and you will fight for justice. Now that's what it is. When you say someone is a lion, it means he's a brave soldier, or something to that effect, right? So the main character, the protagonist, played by Mohanlal, known as the name of the character is Marakkar. Uh, he is he is is he has the moniker Lion of the Arabian Sea, because this is more like, in a sense, it's about the story is set back in uh, the period the Portuguese invaded India and ruled in parts of India. So what happens there? As for the foreign enemy to invade the country, uh, it's always you find traitors within the native population, and get them on their side, and invasion becomes easy. So how do you get the traders on your side? Well, everybody is on sale for money. So this invasion is about money. The world is about money. Uh, Everything on the surface said is all, you have anything, even the two world wars, in spite of the political ideology and everything, it's all takes a backdrop. Primarily, the motivating factor is to rob others money. When I say it's a form of robbery, go rob someone with the might of the sword or the might of the gun, or whatever that may apply to the time. All right. So the three colonies invaded that part of the world: the India, Sri Lanka, South Africa, beginning with Portuguese, then the Dutch, and then finally British took over. And in the process, they did a lot of, there's two sides to every story. They did a lot of, they did a lot of bad things, and they did a lot of good things. They in a sense, they reformed us from the way we were. We were advanced in a different way, but then after the European invasions, the schools, the education, we learned their languages, mostly English, because they were the last to rule, and they gave us their religion. We embraced their religion, and we learned their language, and science, technology, everything came to us through the Europeans. So that's the positive thing about invasion. But a lot of bad things, the flip side of good is always bad. So we'll not get into that. We'll talk about this movie. The movie is about a person known as Marakar. It's a beautiful, overall, the story, when I watched it, it's a little bit of a drab. It's a 3 hour long movie. I think slightly over 3 hour. Uh, and see, it's a beautiful story. That much I'll tell you. As a novel, or as a historical fiction, uh, you know what? You would be engrossed reading it. As a book, it would be. But did it live up to the expectation of bringing it life bringing it to life on screen. I would say not 100%. It just fell below expectations. At times it was a bit of a drab, but the story itself is very beautiful. And but then when you narrate the story on the screen, it has to be fast paced, and you cannot let the story lag. But then that's the only criticism I have. Mohanlal, the Malayalam's well-known actor, or the lead actor, Mohanlal plays the lead character Marakkar. Marakkar, according to history, there had been 4 Marakkars, and this is said to be the 4th Marakkar. And from the Islamic tradition, is known as Kunyali Marakkar. And the story takes place between the years 1520 and to 1600. So what's this about, the story? Of course, it's a time Vasco da Gama, and is before him, I guess, when Vasco da Gama is said to be the Portuguese explorer, while Columbus was going on the other way, the Spanish explorer, discovering America. And Vasco da Gama arrived, and they're showing Vasco da Gama as the character who is playing Vasco da Gama looks very mean, and of course, it's the Portuguese, cast in negative light. Of course, that they are colonial masters. They look down at it's the power of might, and the might is right, as the saying goes. And so Marakkar's the father was one of the freedom fighters, I guess, and according to the story, he was killed. So mother becomes a widow, and the hero, the young Mohanlal, when he was a child, the mother is a widow, and she is being ruthlessly murdered by the Portuguese hooligans who just come into the area, and whatever, for whatever reason, when they harass the native population. So the story is, in itself, without going into details, it's a beautiful story. That no two word about it. And a lot of history. How much is history? How much is fiction? You can call it a historical fiction. It's said to be a real person. There had been 4 Marakkars. This is the 4th one, and he fought against the Portuguese. But his mother was murdered when he was a young man. So he's kind of a traumatized character, a very brave guy. I mean, if you're not brave, you cannot be a hero. And but fighting for the right cause. And the Portuguese get all the different feudal lords, as you may call them, the different kings of little territories, the feudal lords, and they all fall prey to the Portuguese foreign ruler coming in, offering them all kinds of benefits, and some of them, the story has, the movie has, or the story itself, the screenplay has everything that makes a good story. What makes a good story? Different elements in life: love, hate, betrayal, friendship, deceit, scheming, conspiracy, friendship, loyalty. You throw all these elements into a story, it'll become, if it's in the right place, it'll create a nice story. So without these elements, you cannot make a good story, and the movie has all these elements. Where does it fail? For one thing, I would say it's a bit too long, slightly over 3 hours, as a book, as a historical fiction, would have been a fantastic book. And but when you make the movie adaptation, or the convert the book into a screenplay, it's a whole different ball game. And that's where it's like, I like to think, as a book, it would have been a fantastic historical fiction. What is historical fiction? When you don't know, you have facts, historical facts, widely considered facts, but then certain areas of the story is missing. We don't know what really happened or what transpired after that. So the writer gives way to his speculation and imagination, and connects the dots, and sometimes take a liberal hand in creating incidents and characters to narrate a story that he deems fit. So that's historical fiction. From childhood, I have been a ardent reader of historical fiction, and by watching the movie, I know it would have been a great book. But then, as a movie, it's a whole different. Like I said, it's a different ball game. It falls little below expectation, and so that's what it is. And without going into details, very very touching movie, but turns into a little. It lags a bit, 3 hours, and so that's all. Fortunately, there aren't too many songs and dances, but worth watching it. Now, as I understand, it's been nominated for Oscar with Surya's Jai Bhim. In all, this is my view. Jai Bhim, it's a fantastic movie. Why it's a fantastic movie? In my view, the reason being, it's based off a true incident or true events that happened, I believe, in, is it 1995 or something? It's about a real case that deals with the caste segregation and injustices and discrimination, where this lawyer, is still around, Chandru, and Surya plays Chandru, and how these supposedly low caste tribal population are ostracized by the others, the different layers of the main society, and how they are being ill-treated, how the injustices they go through. When they want to close a police case, they nail all the cases on them and throw them in jail. No rhyme or reason. The good thing about the movie is how it's made. A real life story, when you make it, you don't want to give it a documentary feeling. But that movie doesn't have a documentary feeling. It moves smoothly. It's done very well. But as a competing movie, Marakkar, Lion of the Arabian Sea, I really don't know why this movie was nominated for Oscar. That beats me. If Bahubali was rejected for Oscar, but Bahubali is a way superior movie, but it's a fiction. But this has a little bit of history. That said, the naval the battles in the sea, the naval warfare and everything reminds me of Ben-Hur, where the scene is very much. I think the director was probably inspired by the scene that if anybody who had watched Ben-Hur, that's like came way back in the early mid-50s or whatever. And then the final the battle scene reminds of Bahubali. So all that is there. So it's nothing novel in that movie, but otherwise the storyline or the screenplay, the story itself is beautiful. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to me.